Well, it's aimed actually at anybody, but it is actually an oral tale that's told by the Saxons. So it's deemed the oldest English story that was ever told. And then when the Christianity came over, they sort of wrote it down, but they Christianised it. So my version is actually a very condensed version of it, so it makes it easy for a lot of people to read, because it's a tale that's about 3,000 lines long, so it's quite a long poem to read. So yeah, I've just condensed it and added my own sort of, not a twist to it, but just made it very simple. It actually stemmed from being a Saxon reenactor at Westow Anglo-Saxon village. They wanted some panels painting there, just to sort of brighten up the mead hall. And so because I'm an artist as well, so I said, well, I don't mind doing some panels, and I could tell the story of Beowulf. So they agreed. So I was actually thinking of doing it like the Bayeux tapestry, and I thought I'd be sitting there for months and months sewing this thing about Beowulf. But then one of the archaeologists said, well, why don't you paint it? So I said, oh, is that okay? And they said, yeah, it's fine. So I used the natural pigment to do that. But I read the book, 2 or 3 versions of the full poem, again and again and again and again, to sort of condense it so I could make it into 6 panels to go in this hall. And through that, I thought, actually, I quite like to do a book, because not everybody wants to read the full poem. So I thought I'd just condense it. And then I did 6 panels, which are still shown at the Saxon village. And but I'll do, each page will have its own painting in there. So I ended up doing, I think, 14 individual paintings to go in the book. To be honest, at school I wasn't that interested in history, it's bizarre, but as a family we used to visit lots and lots and lots of historical places. But it's just as I got older and started doing similar things with my children, and we're visiting various places, and I actually quite fancied becoming a Tudor. I thought, oh, that'd be fantastic. But then we went to Westow, and I quite like the idea of becoming a Saxon, because it ties in with Tolkien, and Saxon mythology is part of Tolkien's, Lord of the Rings. That's where he got his inspirations from, and various other places, obviously. And so I myself and my daughter, I've got 3 daughters, we decided to become reenactors at Westow village, and that's where it started, really. Well, I wanted to use something that the Saxons would have used to make it more realistic, in a way. So I sourced it. I mean, you can get powder and mix it and everything. I knew that the Saxons mixed their paints by using egg white. So that's what I was told by the archaeologists. So I actually just Googled it and found some that was already mixed up and everything. So that's what I used. So I used woad, madder, weld. Actually, it was soot from my fireplace. And elderberries as well that I found, and mixed those with egg white, and that's the basis of my palette, and then I mixed other colours within that. But the designs are actually based on Saxon designs as well, so I looked at jewellery, stonework, metalwork, anything that was out there to get the, try and make it as realistic as possible. I think it's obviously good against evil, isn't it? I don't think I've got a favourite part. I just think the whole book is so interesting. So many different elements to it. You've got the Saxons enjoying life and having fun, and drinking their mead, and merrymaking and singing and dancing, and then you've got the action bits as well, and all the bits, the other elements where they're having problems and things, and sort of trying to get over those. And yes, I think it's just an interesting story. I think all of that. I think it's so important to start. I mean, I've got a grandson who's a year old the other day. He loves books. He's always wanting his books. He's opening the pages, looking at the pictures. Start as soon as they can start sort of doing something. So important. And I think all elements to do with books, sort of morals, fun, just everything, historical, just everything. I think it's interesting. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it actually took me about 8 years to find a publisher, because I either had published before, a Beowulf book, or they didn't want to publish in colour because it was full colour, and so there was lots of hiccups along the way. So I was really glad when I sort of came across Pegasus and they agreed to publish it for me. Never give up. It's on my mind. It's having, I know it's time. Yes, but I would like to do something very similar, but because that's a Saxon tale, so I'm thinking I'd like to do something to do with Romans and Vikings, but it's finding the right story, because it'd be nice to have like a set. Especially now, I didn't actually make it for a children's book specifically. Anybody can read it, but it is very suitable for children, and a lot of teachers have bought it because they do that sort of thing at school now, don't they? Vikings, Romans and Saxons. So I thought if it could be like a little set for their school, or for anybody really.